Well, howdy do, neighbor. I don't even watch that show. I haven't watched that show since I was a little baby, basically. The sound of rain, continuous like. Was it raining in the base game? I don't remember. It's easy to filter out a white noise, I guess. Okay. Right, I think you're right, don't I? It's just that I don't have enough people locked in. It's some of you guys locked in. Well, okay, first of all, you're a student. K through 12. I need both of your last names, though. It's like, who did Sharon marry? Is the question. We need this husband's name so I can find out both of the other people's names. We know that this is the new husband, Peter Yastremski, who became... and her name became Cricket York in the show, so that she could have a fun little Hollywood career as a fucking 5-year-old or something. That's just a weird vibe. And this is all under Eli, so let's open up the Eli tab, and maybe just go from the beginning. Elias cheated on Gwyneth, secretary named Elizabeth, which I think we moved on from, yeah. That was like a rumor that was a red herring, I think. Popular tourist attraction, but then it kind of fell apart. Elias and Gwyneth Roottrie. This is all pretty... I mean, we have all the threading information that's done. Bess Williams has been taken down. Elias Roottrie. Bess Williams. I think we're past Bess Williams. I think we want to do anything that's related to Frank or later. Bess's young son, now an orphan, was a tenant during the dedication. Bidding was won by Wildcat Construction. Now we want to know about... Let's see. We have your wife. We have your wife! So we just need, like, some context about, like, the generations that came next. Left Florida in 1941. He hired veterans. He died in 1996. Survived by Ophelia. Won the Navy Cross in World War II. Barb Williams. 3 testimonials from Greta Jones, from Go. Oh yeah, here's a dead end or a non-dead end maybe. I remember looking into Greta Jones. What about Vic Elmsworth from the Kikkiwa Falls Gazette? Did I do that already? Ah. Vic Elmsworth, according to his own personal page, is apparently one of 3 brothers. All 3 of them are contributors to a newspaper called the Kikkiwa Falls Gazette. Or later. And he tends to focus more on the southeastern United States. All of the articles he's written are archived on his site, including the long-form version of the review of Barb's motivational show in 1997. According to Victor, he had seen Barb talk more than once. On this particular occasion, Barb's talk was at a very large church, and it was clear that she was an expert at matching the presentation of her concepts for any particular crowd, because she received a standing ovation. Barb started with a story about loss, specifically the loss of a bicyclist who had been hit by a car. She spoke about the death of any person as a darkness in their loved ones, a cold, empty void that begins to creep into a space where there was once light. Because the light could never return exactly how it once was, she says the only option is to nurture new sources of light and help fight back the darkness. Her conclusion was that finding the hidden meanings in tragedy is the most important thing we can do. She used multiple biblical comparisons, finished by looping back around to her initial story at how she personally began to come around to this ideology. The biker who died was her son-in-law. And the Lanes Across America charity was created to fill the newfound darkness in her heart that her daughter experienced. It, the charity, was light to begin to fill the void. She was doing everything she could to help nurture it. Oh, her grandson died. So one of you died young in a biking accident. Which one? It also goes across context. So Lanes Across America is the charity we heard about earlier. Lanes Across America, or LAA, is a charity focused on adding bike lanes to major cities. The pages and pages of news articles that mentions Lanes Across America have a similar summary to them. LAA, formerly LAM, was founded in 1987 after the death of Drew Smith. Who? Wait. Am I being thrown by fucking terminology again? Son-in-law. Son-in-law. I'm so fucking bad at this shit. Your daughter's husband. Oh! I was going with the narrative where she was still claiming her sister was her... that her daughter was her sister, so I was like... okay, because that'd be her nephews if it was the kids. I'm so fucking bad at this shit, but I can just Google it in 1 second and be like, oh, that's how it works, okay. So it's not that big of a deal. Okay. So the husband is Drew Smith. Drew Smith. That's not how that works. Andrew Smith. If I look at this, I can probably get his photo before I lock this in. Oh, half of a photo that probably features his face. A partial wedding photo from the website for a charity called Lanes Across America. The rest of the wedding party is cropped out. The charity was founded after the death of Drew Smith, who's featured in the photo. Unlock you in. Hairdresser, student. So y'all's names are Smith. Ooh. That's an early lock-in. I'm about to fill in 2 other people, basically. It is a lot of kids in this family. Okay, so Clementine was done correctly. And most of this family is also done correctly. Doesn't he look like, not 100%, but he kind of looks like if, what's his name, was in like an 80s movie. Fuck, what's his name? Pedro Pascal. He kind of looks like Pedro Pascal, in like having to like be in a big hair 80s movie or something. Hello. Oh, you made friends.
It's us. So I just have to say, the work you're doing here is fantastic.
So fantastic, in fact.
There goes Clark. Always the bad cop. Go ahead.
Don't interrupt.
Well,
it's just rude.
Our law firm, Ruby Legal Enterprises, is having trouble keeping up. They're actually begging us to stop submitting new Roottrees. They said it's getting difficult to verify your progress.
Who cares? What, is there a time limit?
Well, consider that a good thing. I told Clark you'd get results.
She says that like I didn't believe her. Regardless, the bad news is it's gonna take 5 potential tree additions before anyone locks in from now on. Good luck.
And keep up the good work.
It's supposed to be like a hand wave at the idea that the number's gonna change because that's how the balancing of the stuff works. They want me to land on 30 now because that's the total amount. But the idea like, stop submitting so fast. Now the solution is to change the interval at which I submit. That's not gonna change the overall rate at which I get them right, first of all. Smith? Mark Smith? Marcia, whoops. Mark Smith. It's just gonna have the clumps be bigger, so if anything, the data dumps are gonna be more overwhelming. And also, frankly, you think that I would finish the entire tree and then submit my entire report all in one go. there's no evidence during this process that I'm submitting these as I go necessarily to this other company that I haven't even necessarily been put in touch with. It doesn't matter. The real-time part of the story and the mechanics of the game just aren't really worth interrogating as literal, because they, as I've said before, make no sense anyway. Alright, so let's go back to finding her photo if I can. It's across America, found in 1987 after the death of Drew Smith. Drew was biking home from work when he was hit by a car. Each year since, Lanes Across America has grown and now have offices in over 12 major metropolitan areas, including Miami, where the charity began. The website for the charity has a picture of Drew. The photo's been added to your evidence. Okay, we know that much. LAA for LAM. What was LA? What did LAM stand for? According to the dictionary results that pop up in your search, you learned that the word lamb means to hit someone. Apparently lamb is too common a word to provide you with any specifics. She's like, what did LAM stand for? Lamb! Like it's a percussion. Let's see. I want to find the photo. I probably don't care about this thing that much more. I do wish that this was more of a thing. The United States could just do with more public transit in general. More buses, more like trains that actually take you like up and down the coast. More ability to bike. I remember liking biking when I was a teenager but just like in my local little suburban area. But once I actually ever thought about the idea of biking with a destination as opposed to just biking up and down big roads for the fun of it, immediately it's scary, because once you approach any kind of real destination, there's tons of cars there, and having to cross into traffic and deal with these other things, like it's just not, it doesn't feel safe to ride a bike in the United States in most places where you actually would need to go like get groceries or things that you'd actually use to replace your car. It's not fun. It is not fun to ride a bike, even though riding a bike is actually pretty fun. Because the constant feeling that you're about to die really puts a damper on the whole thing. All right, so going back to the Kikkiwa Falls Gazette, because I was previously looking up one person that works there. There is no Kikkiwa Falls anywhere in the world that you can find. The closest thing to a Kikkiwa appears to be in New Zealand. Instead, a man named Chris Elmsworth has invented a small town newspaper as a conceptual art piece. Huh. The Kikkiwa Falls Gazette is a series of online articles about small restaurants, shows, and other tourist attractions all across America. This is presented as a monthly newspaper of small-town America. What makes the Kikkiwa Falls Gazette a bit strange is that amongst the articles detailing real locations are occasional stories that present outlandish, inflammatory concepts in extremely mundane ways. For example, on the home page right now is an article entitled "Mermaids Strike Back Against Lobster Farms," that using very dry language details the idea that the mermaids in Maine have begun to unionize in support of better benefits. There are no punchlines, and the articles are not marked any different from the rest. What the fuck? Surreal? Unfortunately, each current issue of the paper is presented on the homepage. There are no archives of older issues. Huh. Strange and seemingly irrelevant. And Chris Elmsworth doesn't bring up his own page. Okay. Can I look up the stupid article? Nope, not really. Alright. I want to go back to where, actually? Right, I was getting these from one of you somewhere. Where is it? Oh my god, I just blanked so hard on what the fuck I was doing. You. There we go, the testimonials. Vic Elmsworth from Kikkiwa and Isabel Crosby, the superintendent event in Oh, that might not be much of a lead. Brink. You find no information about anyone named Isabel Crosby that feel like they could be related to your search. Okay. Benton County. And Isabel Crosby, haha, there it is, according to a flyer on Barb's Williams' website, is the superintendent of Benton County. There's a Benton County in 9 different states of the U.S. There hasn't been a Benton County in Florida since 1850, so you're not sure which one Isabel Crosby comes from. Searching for Isabel Crosby doesn't lead to anything that seems to fit what you're looking for. Is she made up? I wonder, can I look her up in the Miami thingy? No? Like, what if she's like a... Oh yeah, Isabel Crosby, I mean. So is that her name? Isabel Crosby? I think I spelled it right. I was like, maybe she's like a local name I can find in the news, but it's otherwise just like made up. Let's see. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with that. That was like a local Mid-Eastern University. Yeah. Lamb. Lanes Across America, formerly LAM. See. He's in Orlando. Oh, they moved from Miami though. Oh, right. I remember that. Searching for lanes across Miami does narrow down the pages and pages of articles you found earlier to only those with a more in-depth history of the charity. You find some additional information. LAM was formed in 1987 and became LAA in 1994. It was founded by Sharon Smith after the death of her husband. Sharon and some other board members stepped down in 1992, and the current leadership took over. One of the oldest articles has a full, uncropped version of the same wedding photo from the LAA website. It seems that after Sharon left LAM, they began to crop her and the rest of the wedding party out of the photo to focus only on Drew, who was the face of the charity. The full photo has been added to your inventory. That's weird. That's weird to use his face still after the wife is gone. I wonder if they left on bad terms since they started cropping her out. But I just feel like once it goes from Lanes Across Miami to Lanes Across America and the founder is left, I feel like you might genericize a little bit more or change the photo to other victims or anything else. It feels weird to continually use Drew like a decade later and like increasingly devoid or ripped of the original context. Oh, hello. Look at all these faces we just got right here. All right. Who is this funny man? Is that the best friend? I guess that, yeah, that was his old friend, so that's probably him. This is probably Mom, and this is probably you. And I guess that's it. I just did it, right? We're not gonna know Cricket from here. Oh, there's a second Cricket. Oh, 'cause she was locked. She wasn't locked in yet, so I couldn't fill in the alternate photos yet. That's a weird quirk of that you can't like try to assign multiple photos to people. Womp womp. Let's see. Frank, Barbara, Williams, Sharon Williams, hairdresser, Mark Smith, student. You guys are like equally confirmed, really. It's just it doesn't matter what order I put people in. So this is it. Okay, this whole half of the tree is full. That part's okay. We're down to just this motherfucker who could not ever chill. There's 3 photos to discover this guy. I need to get my shit together. Okay. It's tempting to delete some of these pages just to clean them up. So now we're down to just Guy. Secretaries. I'll call you G secretaries. Kind of forgot my original naming scheme here. Let's see, G Antonelli's, G 5-piece, G secretaries, Clementine. That's all the way over here, right? Yeah, so we don't care about Clementine. RT. Let's see. Call you Miracle Clem. That narrows it down a bit to Elias, Miracle. There's no Clark in here, is there? Because it's all locked in. Definitely thought there was going to be more Clark. Bad news, because he's just kind of known for that. Let's see, RT Rift. I think I can fit the whole thing, actually. Yep, the Roottrie Rift fits. That's just a little bit more helpful. So the Clans of Trust, 6 pieces of Sam's, Roottreemania, Roottrie Rift. Those are like the framing device stuff. Clark is just the new confident, new president. Okay. I'm gonna delete this page. Because Clark has ultimately not been super relevant. Delete this page. And we'll add you to the Roottrie Rift. Whereas a place you're relevant without having to have a whole page dedicated to you. Elias and Miracle are solved. Def. Interpreter, Susan Ford. I'm gonna add G Def. I think this is still relevant to Guy. Sisely. Wrote for Guy Hudson. G Sisely. G? Anona Mom. I'll just get rid of the question mark. Okay. So, all these tabs are related to Guy. I've added G's to them so I can categorize them a little bit cleaner. Okay, somehow Pico T has 8 missing... I gotta start saying missing because it says missing pages. Somehow Pico T still has 8 shits to know. We already have Pico T added to our periodicals, right? Frickin' Guy Brush Threep Wood. Remember? Remember that guy's name? Remember that funny adventure game? Alright. Alright. Guy Hudson. I've searched this page, right? Yeah, with the low batteries. Okay. So I'm like, somehow I'm supposed to get clues from Pico T. 8. What do you mean 8? Like... Sisely Sanchez. I assume leads to the exact same shit. Yeah, it's the same page, just reloading over and over again. Yeah. Alright, New Boys in Boston. Chef signature. Fry dye. Let's see. Okay, we know about this one. Christine Farrow. Barrow. Yeah. Because that's the local Boston one. Could try putting her into Portland's West Coast. Erderald is technically mid coast, but Midwest, Mid-East, but I think you were a secretary, which makes you extremely unlikely to be findable on the internet, basically. In Pharaoh, and your name became Christine Garland. Okay. Stephen Garland, Christine Pharaoh. Probably not gonna get anything with Guy Hudson. But we need her face. This is all the Antonelli's thing? Lavish parties. Gotta keep the name Guy Hudson in mind. I keep forgetting his name. Guy Hudson Party. Can I find any kind of party? Starlight, probably not. Business Watch. Just really could use a freaking a gossip magazine. Guy Hudson Brazil is weird. Factory in Brazil. It's not in Business Watch. Fuck. How does Barb Williams still have... Oh, it's because they're not logged in still. Okay. Ignore that. Previous on Roottrees has 3 reminders somewhere. Life Between Wars, Lore and Roottree. Can I look up the original one? That's probably useless, right? Yeah, it assumes that I'm looking for the revised version anyway, because that's the one that would have new updates. Or it did have the new updates. Records. There's 3 clues on this page, apparently. But they're dense and hard to interpret. Pharaoh Christine, aka Christine Garland. Five pieces caviar. Local one, Butler kind of times. No. That's just an old article. That's not very helpful at all. You know about Grandorf Dove? That's Susan Ford. Which I don't think is included yet. So I suspect one of these people being Susan Ford. God, the remaining 3, yeah. But I don't have much to go on with them overall. Let's see. I go all the way back. What's the food book? Oh god, what was it called and how far back is it? Kitchen Tales. Wow, that's the beginning. I really did look into this first, didn't I? Really, it's garnishing the truth. Christine, thank you for everything. Your support means the world to me. You're apple to my pie. The second is James and Robert. You're becoming amazing men. Christine, James, and Robert. Yeah, those are all names we have. That's good. Back to the Antonelli's page. Husband Steve was a chef at Antonelli's. Met years ago when they discovered the produce of her mother's farm. And that's Butler County Times. Okay, can I look up her farm? The Farrow Farm? Farrowa. Yeah, that's how you spell that. I was hoping the farm would come up, damn it. This is rude. Karen's Brew House. Garnishing the Truth. Well, this is just a place that wanted the shout out, basically. Which is not very helpful. Stephen Garland. Pretty sure that I've already looked up everything about this stuff. Let's see here. So let's see if I can find anything about Christine Farrow. He didn't work there yet. Christine Farrow was hired in 1976. Becomes Christine Garland in 1977. So she was working at the farm until 76, I think. Or didn't she meet her husband because of the farm? I guess it was her family's farm, right? Where she could still be working as a secretary at the same time. Darn. Please just give me the bullshit so I can continue. Oh, I unplugged my headphones. Oh no, the jazz music is gone. Okay, it's back. I am at such a fucking dead end here, man. I don't know what else to look at related to these people. We know all about the book lawsuit. Yeah, I've looked at all these elements before. And kind of again just now. Okay. What I really need is probably a fucking new lead. Haven't looked up Chris Raff for a bit. Oh, that gave me something. Chris Rafferty's prodigy site seems to have been discovered by the masses. Gone are the art pieces of his cousins. Instead, there's a list of questions that people keep emailing him. The most relevant ones are the following. Are you the son of Clark Rafferty? Yes, but I didn't grow up with him. I remember him from when I was a little kid, but I moved away with my mom when I was very young. We left Pennsylvania and moved back home to Virginia. We live there with Pete, my stepdad. My dad and I spoke a few times when I found his phone number on a check he sent us in the mail when I was 15. He was happy to hear from me, and now he calls me once a month and came to visit me at college. He tells me about things I don't remember, and people like Guy Hudson and Ernie Madsen. My dad and I did get along, but obviously we aren't very close. Did you ever meet the Rootrees? I used to know the Rootrees, but never the sisters. I was in the office sometimes when I was a kid. I definitely met Guy Hudson before he died, but I don't remember. My memory is weird. It's hard to know what I actually remember and what I only think I do because I have pictures. For example, I have a photo from where I was 5 in the office with my dad and Guy was there. I made myself sick by eating chocolate and some woman who I don't know cleaned my face. I don't know if my memories of that come from the picture or not. The photo has been added to evidence. My dad and Guy were there. Alright. These fucking photos. I'm a stupid baby child that can't stop eating chocolate. God, did you throw up in the... Did you throw up in the bucket already? And there's just like a mess on the table, but you still are going for more... Ew. God, everything about that's just really gross to me. I'm unhappy. Alright, well that's clearly you. So let's get that out of the way. And I guess this is the new Clark photo that we knew was coming. And this is the kid. So the question is... I can't click on there for an example. The question is, who is she? Mystery woman. Oh god. Well, she's not Joanna. There's no alternate photos for her. Otherwise, we have no fucking clue. Okay, is there a year for this picture? That's not the picture. This photo was on Chris Rafferty's website. According to Chris, it's a photo of him, his father, and Guy Hudson. While they were distracted, he snuck into the supply chocolate they kept for visitors and tours. Chris Rafferty did not know who the woman in the photo was. Maybe we can narrow down based on, like, the era? Let's see. When did you move? Doesn't say. Doesn't say when this person moved to Virginia, so we don't know when they left. Because if we knew when they left, we'd be able to narrow down. We'd be able to narrow down who was working there. Guy and Clark are both there, which doesn't... I don't think that narrows down either. How did you have proof of Ernie Madsen's heart condition? I knew Ernie had a heart problem because my dad told me on one of our phone calls. I asked him about the poison because I saw it on the Roottree Curse website, and he emailed some old stuff including the proof, but even with the proof, the website didn't take it down. Yeah, that's not really remarkable that you have proof of your own family member's heart condition. People will just know about it. You spelled fiance wrong. I'm not good at spelling or writing. I'm good at painting and other art. I'm going to school to learn how to edit movies. I want to make cartoons someday. Lulu is much better at spelling. Yeah, they do talk like they do type in a way that makes you think they're a small child. Very short sentences, misspelled, and extremely simple functional language. So one of you 4 is this woman. And I have like no lead. Okay. Huh. What would I even look up for this one? Go older. Go Tartans. I had to download a whole app just to deal with this guy. He made his website in 1997, but that doesn't tell me when anything. Painting I did for my first year of college that I plan to give her when we get married in May. Oh, they should be married. First Rafferty wedding. I don't know where his wedding would be covered though. Maybe nowhere because he just doesn't really matter to anyone. The desperation here. I don't think we have anything about Virginia right now to go on, which is rough. Let's see. Okay. I think this dried up immediately. It was fun to look up Chris Rafferty for a second there, but I just don't think I'm gonna learn anything from that right now. Elias, Colin Rayner were on the cover of magazines. I already have these pictures' faces, these people's things. Caroline Morden. It's sometimes interesting to look up some of the past people and see if they come up again. Oh. After the release of 6 Pieces, Caroline Morden did a television interview. Someone has uploaded a partial transcript of that interview on the television section of a messaging community. The transcript is only her answers and is missing the questions. This creates a somewhat confusing reading experience, but does give you more history about Caroline and some of her family members. I just gotta Google all these people, apparently, until this number goes away. This definitely feels more scattershot and weird than the original game. I don't know if that's just me or them, though. This was a cable news interview. A transcript of only Carolyn's answers has been posted on a site about television. Thanks for having me. I've never really fit into the family, so it didn't surprise me. She could have put me in if she wanted to talk about the time during my activism days, when I almost got arrested for stealing the spark plugs out of all her tractors. But I don't think it really fit her narrative. They're talking about like why they were excluded from Sam's book, I guess. And it just wasn't relevant to the particular stuff that she was talking about. But apparently she fucking disabled all the tractors. That's very funny. Yes and no. They never tried to kick me out or send me to live on a farm, if that's what you mean. But I mean, half of them already lived on a farm. But I was already pretty unpopular, and once everyone learned why I divorced my husband, few people paid me any attention. Another family member that got excluded for being gay. She's my wife. Not legally, but we've been together for half our lives. Call it what it is. I was 20 and just had my daughter. Oh my god. I hate to look back on that time because I was a terrible mother the first few years. I left my daughter with my ex-husband and followed Guy on a private jet to Europe. He lost a tooth and a client. I found love and a better understanding of who I was. Still, in our family's eyes, his trip was somewhat more acceptable. Explain that. That's all we really need is that bit. Followed Guy in a private jet to Europe. He lost a tooth and a client. Caroline. No, I couldn't stand him. Our family wrote off his behavior like he was some huge fan of romance or women, but he didn't like the entire woman. Oh, it was doubly awkward for me because he was more supportive than most. I slowly figured out it was because he assumed I would be as shallow as he was. Oh. So he also didn't think much of lesbians. He was a workaholic. He seemed nice enough and did a good job. I didn't know him well. That was one of Sam's problems with our family. None of us did except Carl. Honestly, I get why she's pissed. He was a workaholic, he seemed nice enough and did a good job. I didn't know him well. That was one of Sam's problems with her family. None of us except Carl. I get why she's pissed. I think that they're talking about Ernest Matson Jr., the fourth president, who was then followed by Carl after that. The workaholic that had the thankless job that then they're like, oh, we're so charitable for taking care of his cancer treatment. Our president, that's responsible for all of our money. Let's see. I'd rather not speak ill of the dead, not unless you want more stories about Guy. With Carl, though, all I can say is we used to be friends before they sent him to private school. He came back a lot judgier. It made sense when they made him president. He was a lot like my father after they just disciplined the fun out of him. After I started protesting the farm, he stopped returning my calls. I'd rather not speak ill of the dead unless you want more stories about Guy. So I'll speak ill of one dead. Yeah, so they started friendly and then split. Oh, well, he's hard to label. When I was a teenager, he was basically a drunk or high or both, all the time, is a Clark. He actually used to sell me pot. His problems with women were different than Guy's, but he never really judged me. I guess he knew it would be pretty hypocritical to judge anyone for anything. Back then he was destructively unreliable in every way, but nowadays he's just kind of boring and old. I prefer that to how we used to be, and to Guy and Carl. But it's still a cautionary tale. I hope I'm never that boring and old. Damn. Nobody likes any version of Clark. But it seems like Clark chilled out a bit. That's an interesting thing to specify. his problems with women were different than Guy's. So Guy's issue was clearly that he liked them for their bodies and for sex, but then didn't actually didn't want their minds, didn't want to actually deal with them as people. So saying that Clark isn't like that is kind of a good sign for his character. He was seemingly just bad at being in relationships and being reliable in any capacity, probably. Which is funny because now he's the 6th president. Huh. The part about Europe might be relevant, otherwise I don't know what to do with this particular interview. 45 minutes. That's way less than what I'm used to. I've never watched 60 Minutes, actually. It probably is about 45 minutes with ads or something, right? Do they have ads? Or is it on one of those channels that's doesn't have ads? I was gonna say I've never sat through a 60 Minutes segment, but I have, because they used to show them. They used to show some of them in school on tape. Although I might have still never sat through a whole one, because the thing about watching stuff on tape in school is that you run out of time in the classroom. Although they're just called 60 Minutes, so if they're shorter than that, they might fit in the class period. What always used to drive me crazy is they would put a movie on, and then you just wouldn't finish the movie, because no classes are as long as movies in high school and middle school and so on. Only college starts hitting you with stuff that long, but once you hit college, they don't usually do that, because if they waste your time like that, you're like, why the fuck did I drive to school today? I got shit to do, man. We're either doing class or we're not, right? So I don't think we ever, we're fucking around in college the same way. Anyway, it's time to take a break. We'll see what I can do next episode.